Good morning, everybody. We are going to Champagne, and if you've been watching some of these, you know that Joelle Weiss at Champagne Jacquart has been one of my favorite people to talk to. She's so much fun and really is a good educator too. So they are blending the Clair in Papari Valley in, oh gosh, if your time is good, we should talk. I'll text you later, but I would love to do a live chat like this with you. That's the Republic of Georgia, y'all. Follow Papari Valley. They make fabulous wine. Hi, Carrie. So we're going to be, Joelle reached out because they're blending the Clair today for the Champagne. And I'm going to let her explain everything because she's much better at it than me. So they will be here momentarily. Hi, Eva. Let's see. At a loss of what to say. I don't have my calendar in front of me. 5 o'clock today, I'm going to be on Clubhouse. Hopefully Carrie's going to join me. And my friend Laura in, hi Gabby, Cucina Testarossa in San Francisco is going to be with us. And then this Saturday, I'll post this all, but on Saturday I'm doing another Clubhouse with Denise Barker about wellness, which we did yesterday, and next Tuesday. Carrie, it's 2 p.m. in California. I'm a space case. I'm really sorry. Hi, Joelle.
Bonjour, Jess. Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
I'm fine. I'm very happy to see you.
I'm very happy to see you. Say that again?
How are you?
I'm well. It's a sunny day. I have good light in here, and so I'm very happy. I haven't talked to you in a while. Everything's going well?
It's fine. Very fine. We are at a very exciting moment in the process of making champagne. And so we had met during the harvest.
Yeah.
And the pressing process. And we are right at the moment in the assembling part of the champagne. I'm tired. I have had a very busy day because with my colleagues we have been tasting all those wines.
Oh my God.
And assembling them. And so they apologized. They had to leave because you know, in France you have to be at home at a certain time.
Oh,
it's not lockdown, but it's couvre-feu.
Okay.
How do you say that in English?
Well, shut the what is it?
Couvre-feu means you have to be at home at a certain time.
Curfew.
Curfew, okay. And since they are coming from other parts in the vineyard, and so they have a long drive home, they couldn't be with us. But
Wow.
Gael is there.
Well, thank you.
Operator is there. And well, the idea was really to make you come inside what is our job.
Yeah.
And that's really something, l'assemblage, the assembling, which make us busy from January to March.
Okay.
And so we meet with my colleague once to twice a week, and we taste the wines and we decide how we are going to split them in our different cuvées.
Okay.
So to come back to the why do we do that? Did you receive this little drawing I sent you, or shall I?
No, I can show it.
No.
I have it. Let me put that up. I have it.
It'll be better than in my computer.
There. It's going to be in two parts.
Voilà, because a small drawing is better than a long talk. We say in French. And so that was, I won't come in detail in all the steps of the vinification, but the idea is to show that making champagne is a long and quite complex process, and we make not one fermentation, but two fermentation and aging. And so last time we met, we were at the picking of the grapes, and the pressing. And so we have been fermenting those grapes in our vats, and so we do it in stainless steel tanks. And in Champagne, you separate everything. You separate each village, each varietal, each, well, yeah, of course, each fraction of the pressing. And with that, you obtain a real palette, like colors. Like if I was a painter, I obtain a real palette of assortment of different colors. Why are we doing that in Champagne? In Champagne, we are very north. We are at the limit of the growth of the vine. And before, the production was very irregular. Was not. You had years. Yes, sorry. You had years with no productions. You had years, excellent years, and very, very poor years. And so there was years where the vine growers in Champagne had no crop, for instance, or very poor quality crop. And in addition, since we are very northern, the grapes reach about 10–11% alcohol. And so that lasted for centuries, and little by little, the people in Champagne started to store some wine and to see that if they were assembling different years, they could reach a product which was much better than the sum of its components. And in addition, the years where the crop was generous, they could put aside some wine, which was very useful in the years which were not so favorable. And so from that come the idea of assembling.
Okay.
And the second point is that Champagne has developed a vineyard of brands. We speak of brands. So here we're doing Jacquart. And when you have a brand, you have a style. And you want to perpetuate a consistency in the style. And like a painting. And so you want to get the best from the nature, but on top of that, to put the touch of the human and the human who makes the style. And that's the reason why we are going to separate very, very closely all our wines, and each year, and the years are very different in Champagne, each year, through those differences, we achieve the consistency of the style. It's really amazing. It's I can say it very relaxed because I'm not coming from Champagne. I'm coming from the south of France. It's amazing the power you have through the assemblage.
Right.
So and it's really so step one is really to pick the grapes and to make what we call still or clear wines, vin clair. So those wines, we say vin clair because you see they are from the year. So this one is from the year 2020. It's very clear. It has no bubbles. It has a lot of acidity, and it has only 11% alcohol, 10.5, 11. So it's a very different definition of wine. Those wines are very interesting, but the first time you taste them, they are very different from the champagne afterwards. And so we are going to taste each of them, And it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And so what we did this morning, we were looking for a special, so we're working on the cuvée. And so we have been tasting the different wines. So for instance, here you have Chardonnay 2020 from Aube. Aube is the south of Champagne. Just beside Chardonnay Vitry, that's another village, a little more north. Maubeuge, that's another village, 2020. Here we are going on La Côte des Blancs, so those are Grand Cru, which we separate, of course, from les premiers crus and the non-cru villages, 2020. And so we've been tasting that. And then here I have the 2018 from our reserve wines.
Okay.
Another 2018, 18, 19. And here we had more the Pinot Noir, and here we had more the Meuniers.
Wow.
And through that, we are going to taste the wine, and at that stage, you don't look too much the aromas, you look more the structure in mouth.
Okay.
Voila, just like a painting when you make the l'esquisse, the pre-drawings,
the outline.
like in a jigsaw. You look first.
The edges, yeah,
colors,
the outline.
yes,
the outline.
The headline, voila. And so we're looking the colors, we're looking the corners, we're looking the motifs, and we are saying, for instance, yes, this wine is interesting for this assembly. This one not. We see it better in another cuvée. This one is, we'll keep it for next year, and so on.
Oh,
and
wow.
so at that stage, we are giving different directions to the wine.
Okay. So, Joelle, I just want to recap a little bit. My first field blend was in Vienna, the Gemischterassatz, and then in Bordeaux. And they always said that having multiple grapes, it was kind of like insurance. You always had something ripe, you always had something green, but you always had a decent wine. And the thing we think about with Bordeaux, I mean, with Champagne, is the consistency of the house style, and it's blending not just horizontally over the different villages, the different grapes, the different terroir, but vertically over the vintages. And that's what always stuck in my mind. But you're saying it's both ways every year.
Yes. More or less the grape varieties in our style, you have 40% Chardonnay, 35% Pinot Noir, and 25% Meunier, more or less. So it's
right.
Minus plus 2 points, more or less.
Right.
But here I have 60 different villages. I have different years.
Yeah.
And so that demultiplicates. It's like if I had a painting or colors, I would have yellow, red, blue. Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Meunier. But I can, with my white and my black, I can demultiplicate all the nuances. And that is what will give my style. Did I answer your question or not?
Yes, and that's yes. And then my other question before I'm going to let you go back. But so right now, are you deciding the assemblage of the Mosaic Brut, or are you saying, okay, this we're going to look at maybe for the Mosaic, maybe this for the Cuvée Alpha, maybe this for the Vintage Rosé, or are you putting together the Mosaic Brut?
So in December and January, we were in the wineries and we were tasting all the tanks, and we were saying, okay, that will be more Jacquart, and that will be more Montauban, which is another brand that we have, and we make separation. And then here we know what we are looking for Champagne. We have already done Mosaic Brut. Huh? The rosé will come after. And for the rosé, we will also taste some red wine. So we, first, when you go in the wineries, you already do this separation in big direction. But then you work one cuvée after the other. And today we were working on a special cuvée which is called Clair at home. And so we already, you can, all together we will taste above 1,000 different samples. And you see, you don't have 1,000. Means what we have here is what we had chosen. Mm-hmm. And even here, you see, there are some we have not opened, and we won't use them. We will use them in another cuvée.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Go ahead then.
Voilà. So once we have chosen the style, there is another parameter, which is what is the volume of each tank that we have in the wine. In this one, for instance, this one is excellent, but we have very little. And it also has a lot of personality, so it will be really a spice that we will use in our blending. And so first is the taste, but then come the calculation. And we work with Excel, and then we put the wines we have pre-chosen, and we see the volume, and we make the adjustment also with the volumes. And the third point which comes, and that's always the same, it's the cost, because the wines have different costs. And of course, we have to keep in a certain cost of our cuvées. Sure. So that's the three points. And when we have achieved that, when our financial department says, okay, the cost is okay with your guidelines and so on, then we come back here. We take the glass cylinders here, and for instance, and we make in small,
very good.
And then we make in small our assemblage. And so sometimes there are 30, 60 different wines which will enter in this assemblage. Okay. And then we taste, we see if we are agree with that, and if it goes in our style. You must imagine, so, and that's the second point. This wine, we have it after 18 months, and it will go in a second fermentation, prise de mousse, and then it will age. So we are really at the birth of our cuvée. The birth, we are really here. It's a very the baby is born, but here we are going to educate him with others, and then we are going to age him. And so we make this assemblage. We taste it with this idea. How is this wine going to age? And that's why it's very important to be with my colleagues, because we have different sensibilities. Some of them have a long experience. And so we don't taste this wine. We taste this wine in 2 years. How will this wine be in 2 years? And sometimes we don't agree. We had the feeling when we tasted the wine that it was okay, but when we do it on the cylinder, needs a small adjust. And it's just amazing how 2% can change everything. It's just amazing. Voila. So when we finally agree on that, we will make that taste again to our president and directors, because that is really Jacquart style. It's our baby and it will represent our brand. So it's really important that we all agree, because it will be our flagship and it will come on the market in 3 years. And when we agree on that, then it's an industrial phase or moment which starts, because you can imagine those wines are in different parts of the Champagne, and then come the trucks and they move and then what we have done here will be done in big tanks, and then we will bottle, and then we will put some yeast, a little of sugar, and a second fermentation will start, and the bubbles will appear, and we will get closer to a champagne. Voila. And then the aging, and the aging is very important. And we'll do something on aging one day. We'll just have to go in the cellars.
I can't wait. I really look forward to that. But so, can you just describe what these wines taste like now compared to like a regular, another Chardonnay, maybe?
So, they are immature. Yeah. They have no bubbles. They are very acid. You see, they are a little troubled. Or do you see it? They are. You see. You have a little haze. They have been filtered. They have been settled, but they are not totally filtered. So the nose is really fresh. It's like primeur. If you imagine primeur wine, so it's very pleasant, very like a juicy fruit. Citrus also, we are in Chardonnay, the Pinot Noir. I'll show you something after. But the most important is in mouth. So you see, and I look immediately how the wine develops in mouth. I see, and I look, first I look if there are no bad taste or not normal taste. For example, immaturity, which would mean these grassy notes. Or oxidation. So, problem. And in this case, we would put it aside. And then how the wine develops in the mouth. This wine is extremely pleasant. It's more on the beginning of the mouth. But it has little acidity, which means it wouldn't bring the assemblage long. It's more for the beginning. The graisse. It brings more butter, but that's not good for my structure. If I want to build the backbone, I will go here. Here, it's Le Ménil. It's a Grand Cru from the south of La Côte des Blancs. And this one has no malolactic fermentation. So 2020. So here it's extremely elegant. Here you have really notes of something much more de l'éther de citron, like very lemony, but extremely elegant and luftig, very light.
But your financial people aren't going to let you use very much of that, are they, the Ménil?
And here, I have the filling, I have lemon juice.
Oh, nice.
Very clear lemon juice. And in mouth, it's completely vertical. It brings direct into my palate and very long. And that's top for a structure.
And
I'll show you another one. Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir, Pinot Noir. Maybe this one, or a Meunier. It's not so relevant. I look something. Just a second. En Meunier, c'est 3,440 because they all have terrible names. They have, so that's the tank number C3440.
Oh, right.
And do you see a difference? Up. So
Oh,
do you
wow,
see a difference between this one and my Menil, which was citron, lemon?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that's, qu'est-ce que je fais? C'est bon? On the white, so you see the difference? That's Meunier, that's a red grape.
Beautiful, yeah.
And you see that the color is completely different.
Right.
I see, is that a blend or only a millésime? At that stage, it's not a blend. We are going really on the villages, and it's only, so my C3440, it's written here.
Oh, yeah.
So
wow.
it's year 2020.
Okay.
Okay? And then it's a code from the parcel it's coming from. And so this one, already on the mouth, it's like les bonbons anglais, you know, the Haribo, Tagada, strawberry. And that's extremely gourmand, extremely tasteful. It's really interesting for the flavors. And the wine had some structure, some backbone. The other was vertical, but this one brings some flesh, some voila. And so we're doing it this way, and little by little we are building our style. And so we are when we are talking of style in Champagne, it has a reality, an analogical reality.
Yeah. Joelle, I want to keep talking, but we're getting close to a half an hour and Instagram will cut us off. So I'm going to end this and start a new one. Okay. So I'm going to end this. Give me 30 seconds and come right back. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey guys, we're back. This is going to be part 2. There's too much to say about blending champagne for a half an hour. So we are going to do this again. Part 2. Hey Anna, yeah, that was the perfect job, right? Okay. Thanks everybody for coming back. I really appreciate that. Instagram is limiting us to a half an hour. I didn't want to lose that. Hey Laura. Jose, Jacob, thanks for coming back, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
So then those 3 wines that you've tasted through, how do you think about them and what they're going to do for your blend, and how do you know how much to use?
So I know how many I have, and I know when I'm assembling Jacquart mosaic. Jacquart mosaic is fine, elegant, refined. So that will orientate me. And that will orientate me in direction to Chardonnay, more, majority. And for instance, so we are putting, as I told you, we have to make a big quantity in our total assembly. So for instance, I know all this tank, I will use it. All this one, I will use it. And little by little, we achieve our aim in terms of, how do you say, the big lines. What can I tell you? Qu'est-ce que je peux vous dire d'intelligent encore?
Tu sais être intelligent. Avec toi.
Yes, I'm going to give you an example. year, when we did this assembly for Mosaic, and we did the 40%, 35, and beautiful wines, and particularly, tu peux chercher l'embonné. There is one incredible wine we loved. And then when we did the blending with the theoretical, it didn't work.
Okay.
Because this Pinot Noir had too much strength. And this year, 2020, was very sunny. And for a reason, I don't know, I can explain myself, the Pinot Noir, they really mark the assembling. They really have a strong presence, a stronger presence than their normal percentage.
Okay.
Sorry. And so we were tasting this wine. Good, it's a Grand Cru. Huh? And then at the end, our assemblage mosaic was excellent, but it was in direction to red fruit, which is absolutely not mosaic wood. And so we had to change the percentage.
Okay.
Taste this one, Gaëlle. It's extremely, it's almost like it has the fruit of a Pinot Noir vinified in reds. It's blackberry. It's amazing, really amazing, although it's a clear wine, but the aromatic is extremely strong. And then we had to reduce the quantity. So to come back to your question, how do I know? It's really thank you to Excel, because we know how much we have to produce. And very honestly, sometimes we reduce here, we put more here. Excel does the calculation, and then we taste. Yeah. And that's the artistic part in the job. You know a volume you have to put at the end. You know the percentage, the big percentage, but nature makes that at the end, you have to do it like when you're painting and, okay, and here I have to add a little blue and voila. So, and the last way to answer your question, we have, through our vine growers, we belong to a big group of vine growers. Mm-hmm. We have an incredible vineyard of more than 1,000 hectares in whole the Champagne territory, and that's huge. And it means I have such a choice. I will never use the whole quantity. Jacquart relies on 350 hectares out of a total of 1,000, which means we really don't have never any problem of sourcing, right, because we have more choice than what we need. Mm-hmm. And so it's more filling the little case until it suits our style, it suits what we're looking for, it suits our price target, mm-hmm, but I will never lack of wine. Is it? I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. Yeah. I would say that's a fact.
And then year after year, you're aiming for the same style also, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do you do that if last year was hot and dry and this year was cold and wet? How do you do that?
That's why, so this year is warm and hot. Last year was warm and hot, and the previous year was warm and hot. Okay. And so we are happy that here, I find it here, we have wines from, I don't see it immediately, but 2016.
Okay.
Where we get more freshness. We had, in Mosaic, we have put wines until 2013.
Oh, wow.
And so with that, we can balance.
Okay. And that's because you keep those stores and you know something that might not be perfect for this year, you're going to use it down the road.
One day you come into a winery, it's a real cathedral of stainless steel tanks. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. What else do you have to tell us? Can I ask about a little bit more about last time we spoke? It was in harvest, but we also spoke on the slopes. Shipping and everything is back to normal. Bottle production, all your workers are able to function normally. Everything is kind of moving along. Or you guys have had shutdown, open up, shutdown, right?
Yes, we're kind of that. You end up always with bad questions, Jeff. Well, no. Yes, there has been this succession of lockdown and reopening. So we are following what New York does, and we're very happy that we are very admirative that you still serve meals outside with so cold temperature. And we're very happy that you could open even with very low capacity or, for Valentine's. That was great. In France, there is no vision of reopening the restaurants. They are totally closed until May. So that's a disaster. We're still shipping in export, and amazingly, the United States are doing good.
Yeah.
United States, Australia, New Zealand, but of course they were not affected so much by COVID, and Great Britain. But we assume Great Britain has stored wines in perspective of the Brexit. They have done a lot of storage because of tax, because it's going to be much more complicated to send some wines. But those three markets have done well. To give you some figures, the normal production in Champagne, or the normal shipping, is 300 million bottles a year. And in July, the slimmest projection were at 200 millions.
Wow.
We end with 245 millions.
Wow.
Bottles.
Halfway through the year.
No.
That's the ice.
Yeah. In July, we thought we would not reach 200 millions. At the end,
great. Okay.
In the last figures were published in January. So last year, the Champagne region has shipped 245 million bottles. So it's terrible. It's really terrible. But it's not as terrible as we had once thought. So there is still a long way to catch back. But
but we're very thankful that people like you are continuing to make wine for us. It helps us get through the tough times. And I have to say, the cold serving outside, people are drinking champagne. It is very pleasant to drink champagne when it's cold out.
Wow, that's good to hear. That's very good to hear. And we believe when the people can start, when we have all that behind us, people will be very grateful on simple pleasure. Going in a restaurant, because in France you cannot, and it's so hard for us. It's so important for us. Food, sharing food, going to the restaurant. We will just enjoy that so much. And of course, champagne is just a wonderful product to underline all those simple but so important moments that we have been privé. We didn't have those months. So I'm very positive to what will come. The last point is that, of course, we're suffering, but then we come to the reality of our job, and the reality is to do today wines which will be sold in 3, 4, 5 years, and in 5 years we'll say COVID 2020. That was the COVID year.
That was the year. Yes, that's a good way to think about it. But it's also like you were going to get through this. It's where you're making wine for the future. We're going to get through it. So,
2008, that was Lehman Brothers, and terrible year. But now we remember it as a beautiful vintage.
There you go. Joelle, it is always such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you. Thank you, Gael, for holding the camera. Thanks to Eva and Beth and everybody at Regal for connecting us. And it's always a joy to talk to you. And you're one of the first places I'm going to go when I'm able to come back to France.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
All right,
Great
be well.
what you're doing.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.